Let's talk about some tops that I bought this year that I really like. Let's get into it. The first piece is the pearled ivory long sleeve linen shirt. It's 100% linen and it's got like a slub-like stretchy material, and it's a very wide boxy fit with a cropped hem and a very elongated neck and flared sleeves. And these details really make it look like an androgynous piece. It's not masculine, it's not feminine, it's a good mix of both. It's definitely a unisex shirt. It also came in a pack of 2, so that's why I have this white version as well. The white version, you can tell that it's a little bit more sheer. Next, I have this margiela long sleeve gray shirt, and I would say that this silhouette is a bit more elongated and vertical. It's not necessarily a cropped fit or a boxy fit. It definitely is a slim Rick Owens type of silhouette that warps to your body. It's a very flattering fit, I would say. It also has the classic 4-stitch logo in the back, and look at how worn in that is. These stitches are hanging on for dear life. It may be hard to tell on camera, but there's a bit of a speckled glittery silver all throughout this body, so it's not just a plain gray colored base. There is a little bit of extra detail added in. Next, I have this Vivienne Westwood navy colored PK polo. It also features a black contrast collar as well as a little bit of a contrast cuff here. It has 2 snap buttons on the front as well, and otherwise pretty simple classic PK. And I really like this contrasting colored logo. I've always really liked the Vivienne Westwood logo, and this one has some cool colors, a green and red gem. Usually I'm not that big a fan of short sleeves, but I didn't own a PK polo in my wardrobe, so I needed something to fill that gap. Next is this CDG wool sweater, and it's a pretty thin wool, even though it's 100%. It has more of a classy formal wear vibe, and it's definitely more of a slim silhouette. I'd say this is something I'd wear for a formal event or a nicer classy dinner, but pretty simple black color wool sweater. My only objection is that it's a bit thin, and I guess that makes sense considering the price I paid for it, as well as the fact that it's from the CDG Diffusion line, CDG shirt, so I can't complain too much. Next, I have this white Acne Studios button-up shirt, which is 95% cotton and 5% elastane. And I was looking for a white button-up dress shirt that I could use for formal events, because the one I had in my wardrobe was about 10 years old and I wanted something a bit more luxurious. So I looked and found this one, which I liked, but turns out this might be my most regrettable purchase of the year, because I've worn this once or twice and it's already looking super wrinkly. I've ironed it several times for probably 30 minutes total, and it still just never seems to want to be smooth. It's always wrinkling in some areas. The collar is struggling to stay flat as well, it's kind of curling at the tips, and because of that I feel like that defeats the purpose of a dress shirt if it can't be smooth or crispy. So I think this, maybe it's not intended to be worn as a formal type of attire, and it might be kind of hard to tell how the texture is on camera, but I assure you in person it looks a lot more wrinkly. Next is this scalpel tee from Object 22, and it's a pretty simple baby tee with a cropped fit and boxy fit, and this one is the gray color, and this is my favorite because this scar stitch has a contrasting color, and the scar stitch is also seen on the sleeves as well as the bottom hem. I also have the black colorway, but this one you can't see the scar stitching as well because it's the same color as the base, as well as this white tee which has a white scar stitching. So the only one with contrast colored stitching is the gray one. And I forgot to mention that this gray one also has a bit of an acid fade, acid wash color. Gray one is the most unique, has the most details. In that same Object 2022 drop, I also bought their long paneled sleeve shirt. And this features a bunch of different panels cutting across the front and the sides, and most notably the back, which looks like 3 or more panels merged together. It also features this zipper on the sleeve to flare it out a little bit. I love Object 22, but I think this particular piece, I'm not a big fan of the fact that the bottom seems a little bit warped and it drapes a little bit strange, probably because they had so many panels pieced together that it made the construction a little bit more difficult. You can see that the back panels here curve out, and that probably made the serging of these pieces warped at the bottom, so it flares out a little at the hem, and I think that gives it a less flattering look. Similarly, I think that adding this extra piece to connect the sleeves with the zipper, it makes this sleeve cuff a bit too heavyweight, and it also kind of warps and feels distorted, especially since they have this thumb hole here as well. I appreciate the fact that they added so many details, but maybe these details are causing it to warp in a slightly undesirable way. I think that Object 22 has a lot of great pieces, and I also have their studded belt in the back. So definitely nothing against the brand as a whole. Lastly, I have this cobalt blue baby tee from Amoria, and Amoria is my own brand. So this is a piece that I created. Very simple, jersey, 100% cotton, and it features some pretty short sleeves as well as a cropped hem. And on the back we have an embroidered Amoria logo. So very simple, but I have never released this piece because I wasn't 100% happy with it. Mainly because after receiving the bulk order, I realized that maybe cobalt blue isn't the best color, and it's not the most versatile. It's hard to match with other pieces in my wardrobe, as you can see, and I think that might be the case for a lot of people as well. This color is just a bit too vibrant for me. I like the design, that part is fine, but I think the color, I just made a bad choice with cobalt blue. So unfortunately, I have 50 of these shirts sitting in my apartment. Maybe at some point I'll do a giveaway of some sort, but right now they're just collecting dust. Thank you for making it to the end, and those were just some of the more notable tops that I bought this year. I have a bunch of other categories I want to cover, such as pants and outerwear, so stay tuned for those, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. See you next time.